Welcome to Financial Ginger. I'm Jacob Johnson, the insurance agent that is known for picking up his phone. Today, I am very, very excited. This is a conversation a long time in the making. If you've ever been in a car accident and feel like your insurance company didn't pay you enough money, this is the episode for you. Today, I've got Nolan Sprosty. Did I say that right?
Sprosty. It's like
Sprosty.
Like a spicy frosty.
I should have asked beforehand.
That's
Clearly,
fine.
we've only talked online, and it's been like, what, year and a half or 2 years? We've talked on the phone a couple of times.
Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah. And I send people to Nolan every once in a while. Should be more frequently. Should be every single time. But
should be everybody.
We'll talk about it. Anytime they're in a car accident, because your insurance company is screwing you over. So how did you get into dealing with auto accidents?
Okay, so a few years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, I found this company on Facebook called Collision Safety Consultants. I read through their posts, and if you go read their posts, boomer humor to the nth degree, just terrible. But the information that's in the post is very, very valuable, and what is actually happening there is amazing. And I was like, man, that is so cool. I'm going to follow this company. And I don't give out follows and likes willy nilly. Like I'm very, very particular about which what I like and stuff on social media. But started following them. A couple of years go by, and I had a vehicle that was totaled. And so I reached out. I said, hey, I went on your website. There's no office in Utah. Can you still help me even though there's no office in Utah? And they said, yes, just send us what information you have from the insurance company and we will look at it and get back to you. So send it over. Not even an hour later, I got a response.
Wow.
It's a fair settlement. Go ahead and accept it. And I thought, man, that's great. That is great information to have. What do I owe you? Because I'd be willing to pay $25, $50, maybe even $100 for that kind of information.
Yeah, just
right?
confirm that your vehicle is correct.
That I'm getting a fair settlement, right? Mm-hmm. They said it's on the house.
It's free.
It's free. And I was shocked because most companies out there are out there chasing the dollar. They're what can I do to get more money out of people, right? And
no one does anything for free. What are you talking about?
Nobody gives anything for free, right? And so that's why I was like, okay, there's something different about this company. They're concerned about the consumer. They're looking out for the individual and not chasing the dollar, and the dollar will come. And that's what sparked the idea to me. It's like, okay, so why don't you have an office in Utah? They said, nobody's ever asked to open one. And I said, wait a minute. At the time, I come from an engineering background. I don't have any experience with business or anything of that nature, or even collisions, auto accidents, that kind of stuff. I thought, that would be fun to do. I'll look into it. And then a couple of years go down the road again, and my sister totals a car. And I reach out and I said, hey, here's this one. I know you don't have an office in Utah. Can you help? And the whole thing. The response was, it looks like about $2,500 you're being shorted on this claim.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so what do we? What's the process look like? What do we do? And they laid out the process, which it's in most policies. It's called the appraisal clause. Well, what it states is if you disagree with your insurance company, you can hire an independent appraiser. It forces the insurance company to hire another independent appraiser. So then it becomes two independent third parties. They look at the value of your vehicle. They determine what the value is. Whatever number they come to is binding, and that's what the insurance companies have to pay for it.
Interesting.
No questions asked. If they don't, there's obviously legal battles involved. And you're going to make more money on the legal battle than you will with the car itself. But the other thing into that is if the two appraisers can't come to agreement, they have to find a third appraiser that they can agree on to work as an umpire. Any agreement between any two of those three is binding.
Yeah.
Any
two of the three?
Any two of the three.
Oh, so the umpire. Okay, so it's not just the umpire gets the end all say all. It's if I agree with either of you.
Yes.
Or maybe they both decide we disagree with the umpire.
We disagree with the umpire.
We're going to go.
It can go any way. So that's what the process looks like. And I said, okay. Well, great. What's your fee for that? This was 2024 April timeframe. I said, what's the fee for that? And he said $500.
Wow.
I said, $500 for a $2,500 return is pretty decent,
pretty substantial, meaningful.
And I said, okay, I got brave and I said, I'm just going to try and handle this myself. I didn't go the appraisal clause route. I just reached out to it. It was a Geico claim. Reached out to the adjuster. I looked at what, the appraisal that Geico had put together. And I said, this doesn't look right. Every single comp is out of state. And I went and I argued with the adjuster, and I was able to get her about $1,500 more.
You would have gotten more money just using.
And I would have gotten more money if we just used it.
And you wouldn't have had to do all the phone calls and all the arguing.
Right. And so I was like, okay, man, there's a lot of value in this. And so then that's when it's like, and it sparked the idea even more in my head. Like, okay, this is something I'm really interested in doing. But more than that, it was, man, I just got her more money. I helped someone.
That's a cool win.
That is a cool win. That's amazing. And so that's when I said, all right, I think I'm ready to bite the bullet and buy the franchise in Utah.
Wow. And
he said, okay, well, there's one other person that just reached out to me last week and said that they want to do it too. And I said, oh crap. And he said, first person to get me money wins it. I said, okay, I can come up with money. That's not a problem. Not to make it sound like I'm rich or anything.
No. But you're like this. I want to do this.
I want to do this.
Happen.
This is happening, right? And so then I sent him the deposit, and I sent a screenshot or a picture of the checks in the mail and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, by the way, 2 other people actually reached out today."
Oh my gosh!
So I was racing 3 people to get this franchise.
Wow.
And I was able to do it. Fortunately,
you're here today.
I'm here today doing it, and I tell you what, it has changed my life.
Yeah.
I have a completely different outlook on life because, I was raised, as look out for other people, help other people when you can. This is, I look to my dad for that. My dad was a perfect example of that. And this is that business. You are helping people. People tell me all the time, "Oh, you saved people money. That's great." And I said, "No, I don't save you money.
You don't save anyone money.
I get you more money."
Yeah.
There's a significant difference between saving money and getting more money. Because my wife will tell me she saved money when she went shopping and there was a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not saving money, that's spending money.
Yep.
So
you probably wouldn't have spent it if it wasn't a set we can get into consumerism at some point, but
yes, absolutely. So that's the, my story of how I got into this and what happened. So I opened July 1st of last year.
Wow.
So
that's probably about the time we first talked then.
18 months or so is how long I've been doing it. And it's week after week, win after win. I am getting people money.
And I see your posts all the time on Facebook. And I mean, I've sent a few people your way that I'm at least aware of. Like I know that they actually talked to you. And it's cool to see the wins constantly because people definitely are. I mean, it's not that, right, as you say, the people that owe you money are making the decision about how much money they're going to pay you. And there's obviously a little bit of a conflict, but they have to do it. I mean, right? It's not like every single time they're going to always hire third party. That's way more expensive than hiring someone in-house to do it. So it's understandable why the insurance companies do what they do. They're not evil and demonic or anything like that, right? It's just naturally the way that they're going to do business is going to favor them.
Right.
Makes sense. So getting someone, you mentioned this arbitration clause, and I kind of want to talk about a little bit more. Is that something that all insurance companies have? Like if someone's listening to this and they're like, hey, I was in a car accident and I'm with Geico, like you said, or I'm with Bear River, I'm with Travelers. Like, are there some companies that doesn't work with?
There are a few policies that do not have it.
Interesting.
Farm Bureau does not have it. In Utah, at least.
In Utah, at least, yeah.
Auto owners, consumer policies do not have it. Their commercial policy does.
Okay.
There are other policies. So farmers, for example, their language is a little bit deceitful. What it states is if you disagree and we agree, and I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
If you disagree and we agree that you disagree, which from a defense lawyer's perspective, that's great language, right?
Yeah.
It's, you have to prove to us that you disagree.
Yeah. Or meaningfully.
And we have to agree that you disagree. Like, right. So that's really, really deceitful. And so from my perspective, man, that there should be some legislation that controls that.
Yeah. Which company was that one?
Farmers.
Oh, Farmers. Okay.
So another captive company that obviously you can't sell to.
Yeah. I don't sell any of the captive companies.
But I think so. The only one that you would have an issue with would be
auto owners.
Auto owners.
Yeah. And I actually don't run with auto owners currently. We used to, and there was some disagreements about stuff, and we don't write with them right now.
You're probably better off that way anyway.
Yeah. They're a fine company. They've got some pretty good rates sometimes. And that's the thing as well is right. A lot of insurance agents, we know how a policy works to the degree of, if you get in a car accident, you have your deductible and you should be covered, right? These are your liability limits for damage to other people or whatever.
You don't get into the language of the policy.
No, we don't. And it's not that we don't want to. There's no incentive for us to do that.
There's no incentive. That's fair.
Right? We're not paid to understand all of the we're paid to understand this covers this doesn't cover this. And it's partially a selling point, right? If I understand these common things in Utah aren't covered, you need this coverage to cover it. I'm thinking more of homeowners like buried utility lines or water and sewage backup coverage that aren't automatically included, or flood or earthquake. I can offer you an additional thing, upsell, right? And it's not that it's a useless upsell. It's like I'm thinking like car washes where you add. So anyways, right? Like it's an incentivization for us to understand the policy in that way, but we're not incentivized to help people. Oh, this company's better at paying the car's value when it's totaled. This company isn't as good about that.
As far as paying the value, they actually all use the same software.
Oh,
for appraising vehicles, except for Progressive. Progressive uses a different software.
Probably their own internal thing. They're a very large company.
No, they use a industry standard software that actually quite a few appraisers use.
Oh, gotcha.
But all of the other ones, well, not all. I can't say all of them, but 90% of the other insurance companies use the same CCC1 software.
Interesting. It's kind of like with homes. There's a lot of companies that use the same software for determining values, or restoration companies. We had Structured Restoration on here, and they were like, pretty much every single restoration company uses the same software, or two softwares for determining the cost to replace your drywall or whatever. I'm like, interesting. Makes sense. There's one big monopoly on certain parts of things. Wow. Okay. So what does the process look like if someone's working with you?
So they'll call me, depending on how many questions they want to ask. Could be anywhere between a 3 to 5 minute phone call. From there, I'll send you a text with my email address or some way for you to provide me with what you have received from your insurance company, the market valuation report.
Got the market valuation, the claims number.
That CCC1 report.
Yeah. Okay.
From there, I look at it. I do my own analysis. I run it through my software. I do some market analysis. I look online, just, find some stuff. And I try to, I don't put a ton of effort into that because obviously I'm not getting paid for it, but I will do it. And then I will respond to your email with, what I think the vehicle's worth. This is what the process looks like. This is what my fee is. And then if you want to move forward, let me know and I'll send you what to send over to your adjuster. Once you send that information over to the adjuster, I handle the dispute part of it.
Gotcha.
Once it's settled, I'll let you know what number we settled at and provide you with what's called an award letter. The award letter is not really anything you need to do with, but it is for your records. And if there's a dispute, you can use it. It is legally binding document that you can use to dispute your insurance company with. Beyond that, I'm not involved. The insurance company will reach out. They'll send you, ask you where to send the check to, whatever that looks like, whether that's going to your financial institution or if it's going directly to, if you're going to.
Yeah, because I know companies handle those changes way differently. Or if you have a loan, it's like, this much money has to go to pay off your loan. Right. And we're going to reach out to your bank first to verify the amount due on the loan so we can pay it off.
Get a 10-day payoff.
Whatever it is. Yeah. It's not you're not going to get money the next day. It depends.
You can. It just
because some companies do direct to your bank account when there's a claim. If you're on auto pay and authorizations. And that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So when do you get involved? Is this only for when a car's a total loss?
No.
Okay. Because that's something I really wanted to ask about that I'd never asked you about before.
The appraisal clause applies in most policies. So every policy, the language is a little bit different. In most policies, that actually says the amount of loss and not the actual cash value.
Oh.
So if there's a dispute in the cost of repairs, body shops, listen up. If there's a dispute in the cost of repairs, you can get someone like me involved.
Oh, so the body shop doing the work can get you involved too?
Yes. Well, the consumer has to hire me.
Oh, okay.
The policy states that the consumer has to hire me. That's why insurance companies love working with body shops because they can bully them around, and body shops can't hire someone like me. They have to talk to their consumer and get them to come to me. And if they don't even know that I'm an option, that's even better for the insurance company. Right?
Yeah.
So Once I'm hired though,
That's true, because I've heard that happen to body shops. So they're like, we charge this much, and the body shop's like, oh, the insurance company said they're only going to pay us this much for this work, and it's like,
I see it every single day.
This was a 20-hour breakdown, but in the insurance company, they think it's only 14 hours to do this, so they're not going to pay the other 6 hours of labor. And what do? They either eat it or they try to charge the consumer or whatever. That's where Nolan comes in.
That's where I come in.
Get Nolan.
That's it. So I see it all the time. The other, and this was actually a really unique story. I had a guy that called me out of Logan. It was about August of 2024, sometime in there. He was towing a bunch of hay on a big flatbed trailer. The trailer was his dad's. And it was a commercial policy. He didn't have any load coverage on the policy.
Gotcha, like cargo coverage to cover the hay.
To cover the hay. The trailer flipped. Hay went all over the road. Towing company brought out a front end loader and a dump truck and everything to clean up the mess. They then sent him an $18,000 towing bill.
18. Oh my gosh!
Because they had to bring out they had all this equipment. They had a rotator. They had to pick the trailer up and flip it. They had all of this equipment they had to bring out. So it's $18,000 towing bill. His insurance company, Progressive at the time, said, we will pay $3,300 of that.
Wow.
And I looked at his policy coverage. I looked at, the towing bill to see, the breakdown of what everything was. I thought maybe they should actually be covering closer to $10,000, which is still not the full amount, which is partially his fault because he didn't have proper coverage.
Yep.
Make sure you have proper coverage. Talk to your agent.
Yes. A lot of people are just totally shocked when it's like, wait, all the stuff in my car isn't covered. I'm like, it's not a personal property coverage. It's an auto policy. It covers your automobile.
Personal property goes through your homeowners.
Yep, exactly. Anyways, that's something.
So I needed to confirm the language was correct in the policy, specifically the appraisal clause language, because if it stated actual cash value, I couldn't step in and help. But if it says the amount of loss, which again, amount of loss is whatever the insurance company is paying for. Okay. That's when I could step in. And so I said, call the adjuster, ask for the appraisal clause language. The adjuster asked him if he's talking to an appraiser. He said, obviously, yes. And the adjuster sent him the language along with a $12,500 offer.
No way. What? So you didn't even have to get involved.
I didn't even get involved.
What? Because you even said, I'm thinking it's probably closer to 10,000.
I know. I told him.
Oh my gosh, they're scared of you.
Yes, they are.
They're scared shitless. Wow.
He told me this, and I said, take it and run.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to get you more than that.
Oh my gosh.
And he said, what do I owe you? And I said, nothing.
Nothing.
I didn't do anything.
You didn't use me. Yeah.
I didn't do anything. And he said, well, how can I compensate you? Like, you did so much for me. I said, I did nothing.
Yeah.
If anything, tell your friends and family about me. That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I see that happens quite often, actually, those types of scenarios where I'm not quite involved yet. And they, just because they're talking to me, they realize, oh crap, we have to pay more on this. I had a friend that he was only looking at about $1,000 as I was hoping to get for him. Mm-hmm. And I sent him the right to appraisal letter, which is, them invoking the appraisal clause. This is who I've hired. This is their information. So sent him that. He sent it to his insurance company. They just increased the offer by $1,000.
Wow.
I was doing that friend a favor on that one, so I wasn't actually going to charge him. Otherwise, I would be suing Liberty Mutual for loss of income.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it's like we already invoked the clause. If you increase your payout and they take it, I'm not getting paid.
Yes.
Which is great too, because then your friend doesn't have to pay you, and Liberty Mutual will end up paying you.
Yeah.
That's a company I work for too, Liberty Mutual.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, so funny enough, because we talked about Progressive and Liberty Mutual, they are two of the fastest growing companies in Utah right now. If you ask most insurance agents that aren't captive, the two companies that people are that actually want business in Utah right now, everyone else is making it harder right with them. They're like, oh, we don't want this, or oh, they had 3 glass claims in the last 5 years. We're going to reject. We don't even want to offer them insurance. I'm not even joking. That happens with some companies.
I I have my own opinion on glass claims.
But it's a whole different animal. But as far as, well, in a different episode, I recorded with Glass, with a Glass guy, Andrew Reeve from Royalty Auto Glass, and he's awesome. And they're all over the state of Utah, so I could connect you too with him. But with the companies that are actually writing, Progressive is writing all sorts of business. They've grown like 50-60% this year, and they're expected to cross $1 billion of insurance premium next year.
In Utah.
That'll make them the big. I think they're already bigger than Farmers, or State Farm. Sorry, State Farm has traditionally been the biggest company here in Utah. Yeah. I think they are now bigger than them right as of today.
Okay,
like it's pretty wild. And then of course Liberty Mutual as well. But yeah, that's a different animal. So interesting that we're talking about those two companies.
No, and actually, so people. One question people ask me all the time: What insurance company do you recommend?
I don't.
I don't.
Whatever you say.
I really don't. So I tell them this is the analogy. Imagine there's a row of porta potties, and you have to lick one of them, or face criminal penalties.
It's true. You have to have auto insurance legally to drive.
Which one are you going to pick?
Which one are you going to lick?
Well, the best way to know that is you got to go investigate which one has the best.
How do you find out? Go lick all of them.
You go find out which one is the cleanest, right? Which that comes down to looking at the language in the policy, what their coverage is, and comparing prices.
Yeah. Which is what I do.
90% of people don't look at language.
No.
They just look at coverage amounts. And unfortunately, I've had people that are, being paid $4,000 on a claim that should be $12,000.
Yep.
That don't have the right coverage.
They just don't know.
Either they have liability only, or maybe they're with one of those insurers that doesn't have an appraisal clause.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say there are a few that I don't recommend. There are 0 that I recommend.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And as far as, right, like dealing with insurance companies, I've had 1 or 2 situations where I've like tried to help a client where it's like, I owe more on my loan than I'm getting offered by the insurance company. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm just an insurance agent, right? Like I've tried to talk to the adjusters, and I've done that where I've like done a little bit of research with NADA Guides or Kelley Blue Book or things like that too. And they all like will send you a note as an agent if you actually talk to an adjuster. They'll be like, Kelley Blue Book doesn't determine value. I'm like, yeah, but if that's the market, it shows the market. Like I get that you guys determine more than just that, where it's like, oh, well, this car is worth this much. My car has 50,000 more miles. So obviously there's ways you can say we deduct value based on the mileage differential and things like that. But it's like, these clearly show it's worth more. I've had 1 or 2 situations where I've given clients information like that, and they've called me back and been like, hey, they offered me a little bit more money.
But they probably didn't get anywhere near their.
It's definitely not a legal thing, but I've been doing this for 7 years, right? So I've not known about anything like this.
So you didn't know of anything about me in 7 years. Well, what I do.
Yeah.
And that's no fault of your own. I'll be honest. It's the fault of whoever trained you.
Yeah.
Where you got your license, they should be training about language and policies and how to use that to help your customers, because the appraisal clause is the only language in the policy that any consumer can use to their benefit. Yeah. Everything else is to the benefit of the insurance company.
And I'd never even like looked at like the terminology of that. What's interesting is because every insurance company has their own policy, right? They write it themselves. There's a lot of standardized things, right? Like you said, the appraisal clause, not all of them have it, but some of them are slightly different, or the wording, or right, like what replacement cost is and actual cash value, the definitions of those, right? Like non-owned cars. Like I had someone the other day where it was like, oh, I was renting a car and got in a car accident. Am I even covered? Most insurance companies do cover rental cars.
In Utah, it's required.
There's a couple companies that don't.
Really?
There's a few that don't. Yep. One of them actually just got shut down by the state 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other Casualty Underwriters Insurance, they're gone. The state of Utah declared them insolvent and shut them down and canceled all their policies. And yeah, it's a nightmare, especially because some people had paid like a 6-month policy in full, like a week before that happened. And it's an indeterminate amount of time if or when they'll ever get their money back, because the insurance company is no longer handling it. The state's handling the liquidation or whatever. It's a whole nightmare. I have some very upset customers, but I'm like, terrible. I had no idea. Like, anyways, yeah, it's fun. So you never know what's going to happen with insurance. So making sure that have a good financial rating. You can check that with Moody's and Poor's or AM Best.
Yep.
They both are ways you can check the financial strength of an institution. And anything above A- is probably acceptable. But there are some insurance companies that are like
operating at a B or a B
plus,
minus.
B minus. Yeah. And it's like,
it's like,
what's going on there? And that's, I mean, it's not saying that they're a bad company just because they've got to be minus. It's just that's a measure of their ability to pay out on claims and to avoid something like being shut down by the government for not having enough money or not paying out their claims properly. It's like, whoa, it's a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. I'm trying to think of what to even ask, but like, what do you wish people understood about, let's talk about getting paid, right? Like you said, you're paid. Obviously we kind of inferred it. If someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I'm only being offered $10,000 and you come back and you're like, that's a fair offer. Obviously they don't owe you anything. Right. When do people actually have to pay you?
When they invoke the appraisal clause.
Okay. When they invoke the appraisal clause and you end up getting the money.
Yes, because that's the one thing we have not gone over is my guarantee. And so my fee is based off of the value of the car. It's $600 for every $100,000 in the value of the car. Okay. So if your car is worth $100,000, it's going to be $600, which that's 99% of what's on the road.
Yeah.
If I don't get you at least $100 more than what my fee is, so if my fee is $600, I don't get you $700, I don't cost you a dime.
Wow.
Which,
do you hear that?
from an outside perspective, looking at what I do, if I came to you and said, hey, give me $600 and I will turn it into $5,000 for you in a matter of weeks. What does that sound like?
Ponzi scheme.
It sounds like a scam, right? It's 100% a scam. And so to me, like I have to be completely upfront and honest with my clients and earn their trust early on, because if I don't, I'm going to sound like a scammer.
Yeah.
And so that's part of why my guarantee is structured in the way it is, because I need to earn your trust. Unfortunately, I've been able to do that quite well on social media, Connect Utah and places like that. I've built a name for myself that I didn't think I would ever get to.
Just seeing your screenshots where you're sharing, here's one that I handled this week. Here's a picture of the car that's totaled and they were offered $12,000 and I got them $16,000. Or, oh, this truck was told, the Tacoma the other day, it was like, this was a $33,000 truck and they were offered like 19 or 20,000 or whatever it was. I don't remember that one very well.
I'll be honest,
there was a Tacoma that you totaled recently that was like $33,000 was in my mind, but anyways,
it may be.
It's cool seeing your wins all over the place.
It is. And the best part of my favorite part of this job is obviously the wins are fun. I've seen $20,000 more on a claim.
Wow.
That's insane. That's an insane number. But the best part of it is actually when I call the customer and say, hey, I got you $2,500 more, and they are in tears over it because you're changing people's lives.
Yeah. Well, if you've got a single mom whose 18-year-old just got in a car accident, it's like, I'm not going to get you another car.
Single moms yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was somewhere around $3,000 or $4,000, somewhere in that range that I got her for. And
that's the difference between buying a new car for your kid or being like, you're going to have to figure it out yourself, right? Like it's unimaginable. Or for someone that has a car loan, it's like, this is the difference between you owing money and you actually being able to pay off your loan and not being screwed over.
Yeah. So on that same topic, actually, of owing money, there's a lot of misconceptions about GAP policies and what there is actually covered in GAP.
Oh, because I just assumed GAP said, if we pay you less than your loan, we'll increase it to the loan amount.
No.
That's what I thought they meant.
No.
Or someone limit it to only 20% above the loan. But anyways, tell us the truth.
So it varies from one policy to the next, but usually it's about, they will pay up to 150% of the actual cash value. So with that being said, so if your car is worth $10,000, that's what your insurance company pays you for it. And you have a loan for $20,000, GAP is only going to pay you $5,000.
Only, okay.
And so you're going to owe $5,000 on this car still.
Interesting.
Now, if I get involved and I'm able to increase that up to 15,
now they'll go up to 22.
Now they'll go up to 22
because okay.
So your loan will get paid off unless you have some unpaid premiums with your GAP policy that will step in and that could affect it as well. I had a very, very unique example of this. So the guy had a Subaru WRX with a branded title. He owed.
They're always going to pay less on branded titles.
Oh yeah, they always do.
That happens. Yeah.
And I can get into that in a little bit if you want to, but
Let's talk about it because I've only ever purchased a branded title vehicle. I've had 3 of them over the year. My dad's purchased like 6. I love branded vehicles.
This one he owed $36,000 on this car. His insurance company offered him 19.
Oh.
So when you do the math on that, Gap is going to pay him up to 27.5. He's still going to owe $8,000 on this car. And
oh my gosh,
he was like freaking out. He's like, what am I going to do? I don't know what. And I was able to increase the settlement to 24,000 or 23,000. I can't.
And now
remember.
it's enough for the
It
Gap.
was enough that he owed $500 to pay the car off.
Oh, that's way better.
He went from 8,000 to 5.
Yeah, that $7,500 difference is more than worth it. And that's the point I want to make to everyone that listens to this. It's talking to you costs them nothing.
Cost you nothing.
Right? And that's why I love it, because it's just like talking to an insurance agent. What does it cost to talk to me? Absolutely nothing. If I can't find you better insurance or better coverage or a better price or whatever it is that you're needing, you don't pay me anything. And even mine's one step slightly better. You never pay me. The insurance companies pay me. But with yours, it's like, if I don't actually get you value, $100 more than my fee, at least you don't have to pay me.
Exactly.
And that's awesome.
That's you know, I feel
It's
like
risk free.
It's risk free, and I feel like a lot of people are worried, like hesitant to call me because they're worried, like, what is he going to charge me just for a consult? Mm-hmm. And a consult is free. It's a free.
I've had friends like that. I had one of my friends. Sorry to call you out. No, I'm not going to say their name. That they like. This was a couple of years back, and they just messaged me like, "Hey, what's it cost to get an insurance quote?" Because like my insurance went up, and I'm like, it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't, like, you can not. It's like, no way, I didn't realize that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
What does it cost to go look at the price of milk in the grocery store?
Yeah, it doesn't cost you any money to go check, and that's all I do is I check.
It's just your time. That's it.
Yeah, it's just your time.
And if you have a little bit of time, go do it. It's not
it might take more time to talk to me because I have to get, driver's license and dates of birth and your address and all the VIN of your car and all that stuff, where you're just like, send me what your insurance company sent you for the claim.
That's it.
Super easy.
So branded titles.
Yes, branded titles.
What insurance companies love to do is they will appraise it as if it's a clean title.
Oh. And
then they take 40% off of that number. So if they appraise it at 10,000, their offer is going to be 6.
Okay. Is that pretty common across the industry to do like a 40% flat? Because I just assumed
it depends on the insurance company. Okay. So, but yes,
that's the general rule of thumb.
That's the general rule. Now, if you go do the actual market research and you find branded title comps and you put together, an appraisal using branded title comps, it's actually closer to 15 to 25%, which is significantly less than 40%.
Yeah.
So it's worth it, just have me look at it.
Yeah. And that 20 grand isn't going to drop to 12 grand, taking 40% off, taking only 25% off. It's going to drop to 15 grand. Like that's a $3,000 or $4,000 difference.
Yep.
Which is, and that's on a cheaper car, $20,000 car. Like that's a $100,000 car. That's way more. That's, 60 to 75. That's a $15,000 difference. So yeah, definitely worth asking about.
So yeah, branded titles, that's and as far as coverage for branded titles go, it's all the same type of coverage. It's an ACV policy. I doubt you'll ever get an insurance company to agree to an agreed value on a branded title.
No, they don't do that. In fact, most of the companies that I work with that do agreed value or stated value policies and don't do market value, because that's the real thing, is checking the difference, because some companies will say actual cash value, some say market value. And if you see that actual cash value, that's where it's probably a little bit harder for you to work with.
That's 90% of what I do is actual cash value.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that's good. That's good to know, is actual cash value, market value. But then some of these special type of policies will be stated value
versus
and
agreed value.
That's most common with like exotic cars or really old antique cars. Muscle cars. Certain limited runs that are 0 to 9 years old.
And now that's where a lot of misconception is between people get a stated value and agreed value mixed up all the time, and they'll say, "Oh, well, I've got stated value. Why are they giving me less than what?"
Yeah, you stated a value. That means that's the cap of what they'll pay.
That's exactly
what a stated value policy
means. People don't understand that, and they get upset about it. Like, well, you gave them a number. I actually had one go the opposite one time. He stated a value. It was stated value. I think he said it was 3,000. It was a K truck. I don't know if you know what those are.
Yeah.
The little Japanese
Japanese ones. Mm-hmm.
It was a K truck. He stated 3. They gave him 3 for it. And then he got into looking into it. And it's like, oh, this thing's worth 6.
There's not a lot you can do at that point because you agree. You stated
the number.
The number, yep.
Yeah.
And and a lot of companies that do stated value, it's because sometimes, especially with antiques or with brand new, like or performance or exotic cars, it's like, okay, we get that a brand new, Lamborghini Huracan costs this much. Yours is a year old. You tell us what it's worth because we're not going to preempt it. Right, with like Honda Civics, there's such a mass market. So many of those get sold every year. They know what it's worth and they can just tell you by the VIN number, right? It's like, this is about what it's worth. We're going to charge you for that value. With some of these cars, it's like, I don't know, is it worth 300 grand now or is it worth 600 grand now? You tell us a stated value and we're going to charge a premium based on that value state. So if you give us a lower stated value, you might get a lower premium, but you also might be screwing yourself in a claim. But you're right, stated value, you might not be covered to that limit just because you say it's worth that much.
Right.
And that's where agreed value comes in.
So you and the insurance company agree on a number, and that's the number that you're insuring the vehicle for. If it's worth less than that, you still get paid that amount.
Yep.
If it's worth more than that, you still get paid that amount.
Yep. And my understanding with those is like Progressive and Liberty Mutual generally do the stated value policies.
There's not a lot of carriers that do agreed value.
Yeah, the two that I work with that do, Hagerty. American Modern and Hagerty. Yeah, Hagerty does them. And some people are like, oh, what's the difference? And I'm like, this is. And that's probably putting it better than I have in the past. I like that. The stated value is what you're saying it's worth, and that's the maximum they'll pay.
Yep.
Agreed value there. And with the agreed value policies, they sometimes want a lot more information from you.
They do.
And they'll disagree with you. Like I had a couple that they had like a 1956, I can't remember what it was, some big square body. It randomly caught on fire in the 90s when they were living in California. Just driving down the freeway, the whole thing just exploded, right? Just boom. They loved that car. They had it. They got it when they first got married. They had their kids in it. One of their kids was born in the car on the way to the hospital, right? Like super sentimental car. They spent like $600,000 restoring and rebuilding. And they're like, we want to agreed value this for 600. The insurance company was like, nope. Absolutely not. We'll do 120,000 and that's twice as much as we should do. Like there's like everything about this car says it's worth 60,000 in prime condition. It's like it's not worth that much.
Right.
So anyways, they got it for 120.
Sentimental value. Sentimental value does not.
We had to get
equate
pictures
market value.
of everything. We had to get pictures of the engine, of the freaking doorknobs, of the trunk space, like the interior close up grain of the like they really are like, let's see if we can get the value more than the 60,000 that we usually would do on this year make and model of vehicle. And they ended up doubling the coverage. It wasn't as much as they want, but they are more thorough when they're going to do it. So if you're doing a stated value policy, one of the ways you can know you're doing a stated value policy is did they ask for 55 photos of your car?
Yeah.
Did they ask for pictures of it we had one guy where they were upset because it's like, this isn't his address. Like the picture showed it's like, oh, that's my daughter's address. It's over there right now. And it's like, we want a picture of it in your garage where it will be, or wherever it's regularly going to be stored. It's like, it's regularly going to be stored at my daughter's house. They didn't even offer him a policy. Like, we don't want to deal with that. It's not parked at your house. I'm like, that's so weird. But anyways, so work with your agent to figure that out. But that's a quick little benchmark to know if you've got a stated value or agreed value. Did they ask for 1 billion pictures of your car?
That's true. So like I see that all the time. So those are, the misconceptions of coverage types. The other misconception of coverage type is aftermarket equipment.
Yes.
If you have $3,000 in wheels on your car, it's likely not covered.
Most insurance companies that I work with explicitly exclude decals, custom paint over some it's $1,500, some it's $5,000 value, window tint, and tires.
Yep.
They're like, these doesn't matter. We will get you tires.
Yeah. They will. What they'll do is they'll put like $1,000 or $1,500 max on the aftermarket equipment, and anything above and beyond that, it's not covered unless you have a rider for it.
Yep. You have to, and people forget that all the time. It was on the news. It was like a Get Gephardt thing. Bear River Mutual, there was a lady that crashed her van, or I don't know if she got hit by a hit and run or crashed with it. This was like 5-10 years ago. And she had handicap accessibility equipment on this van, right? It was an older minivan. I think it was worth like $8,000 to $10,000, but it was like $40,000 of conversion equipment to make it a handicap accessible for multiple wheelchair children she had. And the insurance company didn't pay out more than like, it was like $1,000 at that point. And I'm not saying this to shit on Bear River. Bear River's a great insurance company compared to many. That's fine. But right, it's like, hey, the policy clearly says this.
If that's what the policy says, that's what it is.
And you should ask your insurance agent when you got those special things. Like I had a friend that had all these upgrades. He bought a brand new Jeep Gladiator and he put like $60,000 of lift kits and all these other things in there.
And wheels
he ran electrical to the bumper of the truck. So like when he's camping and stuff, he can like connect electrical direct to, and it's that 24/7 hardwire when he flips a switch in the cab so that he can have electrical when he's camping, right? Like really nice tricked out truck. And we went over all of it and it's like, yeah, it's an extra like almost $3,000 a year to insure the extra $60,000 of aftermarket equipment on your car. Or maybe it's like 35, whatever it was really expensive. And he's like, I don't want to insure it. I'm like, as long as you're aware,
that's a decision you make.
It's a decision you can make. I don't care if you make it or not, but be aware.
To your I don't know, to your point though, and I actually watched your Josh Erickson episode
the health insurance
yesterday,
one.
And you talked about making decisions based off of knowing that something might not, or most likely will not be covered.
Yeah.
And that was, I loved that conversation because I have this conversation with people almost weekly. Well, they're not paying me for the $3,000 tire or wheels and tires that I have. Well, did you pay them for it?
Yeah. Did you pay for that insurance coverage?
So that is such a great point to make, because if you're not making the correct coverage decisions, you're not covered and they're not going to pay for it.
Yep. Know what you're paying for and know what you're missing. That's why it's good to have a smart agent that can be like, hey, in Utah, 60% of home claims are related to water and sewage backup. Your policy doesn't have it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, adding $25,000 of water sewage backup coverage only costs me $100 a year, $110 a year.
Yep.
Okay, if you don't want to pay for that, now you're aware. And then when that happens, you can't be angry with me.
Yes.
Right? You can't be like, what the heck, Jacob?
Well, the other thing that I hear all the time is, well, but my agent told me that when there's a claim, I just send them in whatever receipts I have. And I said, well, your agent is either misinformed or lied to you.
Yeah.
Either should result in a claim on their E&O.
Yep. Being thorough as an agent.
And so this is my call to agents is be thorough.
Be thorough. Ask all those things.
Protect yourself.
Whenever someone calls in with a new car, it's like you need to be asking, do you want full coverage or liability? Here's the deductible that you have on your other vehicles. Do you want to match the deductible? Do you want windshield? Do you want roadside assistance? Do you want rental reimbursement? Do you have any aftermarket equipment or upgrades? Do you have, right, who's going to be driving this car? I had a situation once where someone said, oh, I'm going to be driving it primarily. Their son, who wasn't listed on their policy, got in a car accident the week after. And they were upset that it wasn't going to be covered because it was a non-listed driver. It was a teenage driver that should have been listed on their policy. And we've asked about it. Wow. So we actually pulled the phone calls, gave it to the insurance company. It's like, we've asked if there's another driver in the household 3 different times over the last 6 months since he got his license, right? Because on the license, it shows the date it was issued. And she, every single time, either said, I'm the only one driving this car. There's no other drivers. Like, verbally told us that. The insurance company is rightfully able to do it. Right. And if you don't have that record as an agent,
they have the right to deny that.
Yeah, they have right. And if you did tell them and the agent didn't add it, easy error omissions claim. I actually had that happen to one of my friends the other day. He came in to do quotes with me and I'm like, why is your current policy so cheap? You've got a brand new 16-year-old driver. Like mine was more than double. And they called I'm like, it doesn't look like your daughter's on here. He called his agent while he was in the office with me and was like, hey, is my daughter added? And he pulled up an email. He sent a photo of her license to their agent a year ago. And they just never added her. And I'm like, you're totally fine, Scott. If your daughter got in an accident, your agent would be paying out of pocket. Yeah. And I've actually seen that happen.
Or out of the E&O.
Or out of their E&O. Either way, you're going to be covered because they asked for it. You sent it. They even replied and said, you're good to go or something like that. It's like, not like they just missed the email. Like even more proof that anyways. Right. But yeah. The agents, insurance agents need to be asking all those questions because if they're not asking, they could potentially be liable, or it could be a 6 or 8 month court battle for you to get it properly. Like with me, a lot of times after I've made a change, I send people an email. Here's a copy of the updated policy. Double check to make sure all the drivers and vehicles are on here the way you want them.
It removes your liability when you do that.
Yep. And here are the changes we made today. right? It's like we talked about your daughter that went on an LDS mission and we put her on mission status, or we removed her from the household because she's not there anymore. Here's the car you sold, whatever it is, right? We decided to add glass coverage to these two cars because you wanted it. You don't have it on this car or whatever. Anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
a great thing to talk about.
it's important. I wanted to bring some of the value that things that I've learned that you can apply and that we can, have other agents learn from this, because it's very important that you have proper coverage and you cover that, protect yourself as the agent.
Especially aftermarket stuff, because a lot of people just aren't aware. It's like, wait, you're talking my $40,000 of handicap equipment on my van isn't covered, or you're talking, the electrical upgrades I did to my truck aren't covered automatically. It's like, Nope. It's based off the market value of that car. We didn't know that there's an aftermarket upgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
So sorry if I'm going to switch topics here, but the next thing I wanted to talk about was the next problem that I run into when people call me is when they have liability only and someone else hits them.
Yeah. There's nothing that can be done there, because your insurance company doesn't owe you anything for your car unless you have uninsured motorist property damage.
Right. Which would come with comp and collision anyway.
Yeah.
So I see this almost every day. Somebody calls me. They have liability only coverage. They're not getting a fair settlement. This is my worst scenario. Like I feel terrible. Like my gut is in my stomach because I can see they're getting lowballed by this third party insurance company by 3 or 4. I've seen it as much as $10,000.
You don't have any rights though. You don't have the appraisal clause because it's not your insurance.
They don't have any rights. They say, well, why can't we use you? And I say, well, because the appraisal clause, it's in that policy that you're making the claim against, but you're not in the policy.
Yep.
You are not a privy
You're
to
not
that
a named
language.
insured.
You are not a named insured, so you don't have access to that language.
Yeah.
And so my goal with this, one of my goals, I should say, is I want to talk to everybody when they have been in an accident, or especially if their vehicle's totaled, because I want to collect that kind of data. I want to say, okay, I was able to help these many people, get on average $4,000 to $5,000, or it's 40% increases the average number on the claim.
Okay, that's good enough.
That's
substantial.
Anyone listening, amount.
If that doesn't sound substantial, you tell me in the comments. Say, Jacob Nolan, you're full of shit. 40% isn't a lot of money.
And I'll show you the data if you wanted me to show you the data.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Coming from an engineering background, I'm a data-driven person. So what I want to do is take that data and go to the legislators and say, this is the people I was able to help. I was able to get them on average 40% more. I was unable to help these people for X, Y, and Z reasons.
Wow.
They have liability only because they couldn't afford it. Maybe their insurance company didn't have the appraisal clause in their policy. All of these different reasons why I was unable to help them. Let's change the law and make the appraisal clause a statutory thing. So regardless of which insurance company you're dealing with, if it's yours, first party, or another driver's third party, they have to follow the language that's in the law. And you can use the language that's there in the law available to you to dispute this.
Because if it's legally required, there might be a possibility if you're the third party in a liability claim from someone else's insurance, you can invoke it to get, because who cares if they have $100,000 of property damage on the policy, the person that hit you and caused you fault. If the insurance company is only offering you 10 grand for your car and you think it's worth 15, you have no repercussions.
Well, you do have one repercussion right now currently, and it is small claims court, but nobody wants to pursue that.
Yeah, it's really, really hard.
It's really not that difficult, but it is daunting to most lay people.
Yeah, daunting to me.
Lay persons. That's the right word for it.
Call me lay.
But it is daunting. It's not something, and it's time consuming. You have to be there. You have to present all of the information that you have. If you want to bring an expert, you can give me a call. I have testified in small claims court before as an expert witness.
Wow.
That's something I'm willing to help people with. But it is not something that people really want to pursue. And there's a much easier route if you have the proper coverage.
Yeah.
Currently, but hopefully in the future.
This was an ad for having full coverage.
This was an ad for full coverage.
By people who don't love insurance companies.
Now, that being said, I own vehicles that don't have full coverage. There's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
So it's if you can suffer the loss of that vehicle and not have
and it's not going to be a problem. Yeah, that's where it's not as big of a deal. Where it's like, okay, I get that you're only offering me $1,500. This car might be worth $2,000. I'm not I've tried to argue, but I can let the car go. It's not going to hurt me. Yeah. I had a beater car in college that didn't have an AC unit, like that didn't work, and the window didn't roll up or down. So if it fell, it's just, anyways, right? It's like that sort of car. I'm driving it till it's dead, or until I graduate college and get a job, or whatever the reason is, and that might be okay. Yep. But yeah, you're not going to get another car if that car's totaled, because it's not worth anything. It's worth emotional. Anyways, yeah. Awesome. Well, we are kind of wrapping up on time.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I wanted to just, leave it to people in the audience that have listened to this and they're like, wow, I need to save Nolan's contact information in my phone, or I need to follow his Facebook group or whatever. How can people find you and get a hold of you?
Collision Safety Consultants. If you find this on Facebook. So I have the Utah office. So if you search up Collision Safety Consultants of Utah, and it's of UT, not Utah, you can find me there. Or if you just follow the main page and want to read some boomer humor, that's good too.
That's too cool. Collision Safety Consultants.
And then the website is kind of interesting. It's collisionsafetyconsultants.us.
.us. Okay.
We do service the entire nation. We have 35 locations across the U.S., Canada, and Australia.
Oh, hey, Australia.
Yeah.
I actually have a random, so I served an LDS mission in New Zealand.
Okay.
And because of that, I have a random 10%, 15% of my audience that's Australia, New Zealand. So there we go.
Hey.
Joseph, when you get in a car accident, Nolan has a referral for you.
I've got a referral for you. Absolutely. So then, that's the easiest way to find us. You can find us on Facebook or on our website. I don't have an Instagram.
Totally fine.
But
you don't need one.
It is not hard to find.
Yeah, not hard to find Nolan if you need him. That's cool. Yeah, needs to help people every day. It's great. I love it. I'm excited to continue to send people your way when they get in car accidents and call me and they're like, what do I do? I'm like, call Nolan. It'll be great. Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have had an interesting time on this, let me know what you think in the conversation. Have you ever been in a car accident where you felt like you weren't being properly compensated, or where you were upside down and alone? Tell me about it in the comments. I would love to hear. Definitely I'll make sure Nolan sees them as well, because that'll be interesting to know. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know, could be useful. And then when you do need them, I'll put some of his links in the episode description and maybe first comment or something like that, so you can find safety consultants. Great. Thanks for being on. This has been exciting.
Yeah, it's great.